Greetings from Delhi Medical Association and eMedi News. Welcome to our show, Chat with Dr. KK. Today we are going to have a small chat with Dr. Punit Deewan, who is a Senior Program Officer with BMGF India office. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
My simple thing is that recently WHO has said no more serological tests in the diagnosis of tuberculosis.
That's right.
So what's the latest? In the year 2013, as a general practitioner or as a family physician, what are the options available to a person for diagnosis of tuberculosis apart from AFB, apart from direct AFB?
Well, I think the most important thing is that the options available are not necessarily the right options. Many options are available which are inappropriately used. For example, you still find serology available in the market, and that includes both ELISA as well as rapid diagnostic tests. All of those have effectively, both WHO have stated and the government of India have represented that these are inappropriately used to diagnose TB in adults and kids. So they shouldn't be used at all, even if they are available.
What are these nucleic acid tests?
Nucleic acid tests for the presence of TB genes in sputum or blood or anything. Now there are commercial tests.
Can they test it in the blood?
Well, it can be, but they work very poorly and shouldn't be used. And the problem is that most of the tests offered by laboratories are non-commercial tests that are not validated outside of that laboratory. Just like you wouldn't necessarily give someone medicines made by, my cousin's shop in Chori Bazaar. You wouldn't give a test that's really cobbled together within a laboratory without the sort of manufacturing and quality assurance appropriate for a commercial assay.
So do you feel like, for example, if a patient has a pleural effusion or a pericardial effusion, before starting an antitubercular therapy, I must go for a nucleic acid testing?
No, not necessarily. It might be appropriate in some cases. I think the nucleic acid testing, if it's an appropriate commercially validated test, and preferably now the national program is endorsing tests that they consider, they've looked at and say work. The RNTSP, as I understand it, issuing a list of endorsed tests. If it's an endorsed test, it might have value in that given patient. I think an effort to get microbiologic confirmation is an essential standard of care for all patients.
In a pleural fluid, pericardial fluid, AFB may not be positive.
It may not be
most
positive.
Situations. In that case, before starting antitubercular therapy, should we send also a nucleic acid test if money is not a problem?
As on today, the best test available would actually be a culture, preferably a liquid culture from a credible, quality assured laboratory, because that's simply the most sensitive and will give you reasonable time information. That's the case. Nucleic acid amplification tests for extrapulmonary specimens are promising, but not well established. Okay, so it's hard to write, but it will be there in the future.
Let me go away from tuberculosis. If you would not have been a doctor, what you would have become?
If I wouldn't have been a doctor, that's a good question. I probably would have been a teacher. Because I would have been a teacher.
Teacher you are even now?
Well, it's sometimes possible to do both things that someone wants.
Okay. One simple thing, you have heard about this gang rape in the country?
Yes.
And who shook the whole country?
It shook the world.
Shook the whole world. Yeah. One line view.
People need to treat women better on all levels and all aspects. And society needs to examine itself very carefully.
And do you feel that every police personnel who is first contact with the victim should be trained in first aid?
I think that
CPR, first aid.
All first responders, should have both medical. It's not just the policemen who can be insensitive. Oftentimes, the most terrible brutality comes from the medical profession itself, which doesn't know how to manage. It doesn't have the sensitivity to manage victims of these crimes. And so I think the medical, I'm not an expert in these fields at all, but the medical facility should look to itself to improve its skills.
Dr. Deewan has said is very clear that in the diagnosis of tuberculosis, serological testing has no place. You have to go for a AFB test or an AFB culture, and there will be a future for nucleic acid testing. Thanks to being on our show. And that's all for today. We'll come back with one more show. Till that, goodbye. Thank you.